Welcome back. It's almost 29 after 7 on Morning News Today. Now, almost half of South Africans say that if elections were held tomorrow, they would vote for the ANC. That's according to a new Afrobarometer survey. The poll shows that the Democratic Alliance and the Economic Freedom Fighters would both get 11% of the vote if those elections took place tomorrow. Now, the survey also shows that trust in the Independent Electoral Commission, that's the IEC, has fallen sharply. 1,800 people were interviewed. Well, for more on the survey and to interpret it further for us, we are joined in our Cape Town studio this morning by Afrobarometer's Gugu Nonjinge. Gugu, good morning and thank you very much for your time. It's Dan Moyane here in Johannesburg. Just to clarify first, we always get these questions when these polls come around. We know there'll be more polls ahead of the elections. 1,800 adult South Africans were surveyed. Is that statistically significant and valid?
Definitely. I mean, one thing we pride ourselves in is our methodology that we follow when we're conducting the surveys, be it in South Africa or any other 34 countries that the Afrobarometer works in. So we make sure that the methodology or the survey is nationally representative. And again, every adult citizen in the country has an equal chance to be surveyed and asked questions. We also make sure that the surveys are asked in the language that the respondent is comfortable in. What we realize, though, is that even though we have a vast population in South Africa, we do not necessarily need to interview or survey everyone in the country, but we need to take just a nationally representative sample just to get the gist of what's happening on the ground and what's happening in the country.
And what's the margin of error?
The margin of error is 2.3 plus minus.
Okay, now you have found, according to this latest survey, that almost half of South Africans say that if elections were held tomorrow, they would vote for the ANC. How does this stack up with the previous survey that you did?
I mean, the previous survey, it shows that close to 51% of people had elections were held the next day in 2016. They were going to vote for the ANC. And this year we've seen a small decline in that number to 48%. Again, it's still about half of the population saying that they would vote for the ANC. However, we did see the numbers, I mean, when the last elections were held, translating into the voter population and the voter percentage in the country.
So it was close to the results?
Definitely. Okay,
now the EFF, 11%, DA, 11%. For the DA, I guess, compared to the last, it's a little bit worse off, so to speak.
Yes, definitely. Even though they both at 11% of the people who answered the question say that for both DA and the ANC, they would vote DA and the EFF, sorry, they would vote for those two parties. We do see that the EFF has had a slight increase compared to the DA, which has shown a slight decrease in the number of people who say that they'd vote for the party.
Yeah, the EFF getting its support mostly among younger respondents, one would guess?
Definitely. I mean, when we do the voter support and then we disaggregate the data by social demographics, we see that the EFF gets most of its voters from younger people. And also, again, it is mostly men than women. But with the ANC, we can see that majority of the people that say they would vote for the ANC are unemployed. They're in rural South Africa. And for them, there's no proportion between men and women.
You just mentioned the word rural there. How do these three parties fare in the urban-rural split? Who's stronger where?
The ANC definitely has its supporters based mostly in the rural South Africa, and with the DA and the EFF, it's about a mixed bag of both rural and urban. But majority of the people that support these two parties, the DA and the EFF, are based in urban South Africa. Okay, finally, Gugu, before I let you go, I also see that you found during this survey that
trust in the IEC has declined sharply. I mean, if I were the IEC, and we'll try and get hold of them to talk to them about your survey as Afrobarometer, I would be concerned that South Africans are lacking trust, or their trust in the IEC, which is an important institution to make sure that the multi-party democracy elections happen properly. I would be concerned that it's declined.
Definitely. I mean, also what the survey does, it tracks trust in public institutions, and the IEC happens to be one of those institutions. And as we're preparing for the elections, it is one institution that we need to zoom in on. And if majority of the country does not trust the IEC, meaning that actually they don't trust that the elections are free and fair in the country, as a result, a follow-up question to that, people were asked if they would trade democracy for services, for improved services in government. And we can see majority of South Africans actually say we would choose jobs and quality education over voting and over democracy. So it is quite concerning that the IEC, which is meant to be the most trusted public institution in South Africa, with a decrease and also in a decline in support and trust by public citizens. And also in that question, we've also seen that all other institutions, including courts and police, have also seen a decline in trust, except for the office of the president.
Okay, thank you very much, Gugu there. That's Gugu Nonjinge from Afrobarometer, talking about the latest survey, which is showing that if elections were held tomorrow in the Republic, the ANC would get about half the support ahead of the EFF and DA, who will be battling for second place. And they're getting some insights there, partner. Well, we're still going to get more polls, I guess, as we get closer to the general elections next. It's going to be interesting how the polls are close to the final results themselves.